Hi, I'm Rachel King. Welcome to my channel. This is the second in a series of midweek vlogs, which are sort of how-to guides really. This week I've chosen PDF patterns. So if you're unfamiliar with PDF patterns, you've never used them before, this is really a guide on how to use them. So I've chosen a very simple PDF pattern. It's a very, very nice style with really clear instructions which support it, and it's all downloadable. So I'm going to go through the whole process with you until we've got the final printed cutout pattern, and then after that, if you keep watching, I will talk a bit about how I use PDF patterns, and I'm also going to talk about some links I have to free PDF patterns that you might be interested in using. However, if you want to skip on to the point at which I show you how to download and print, go to this point in the video. Otherwise, I hope you'll keep watching. Let's begin. So I've chosen the Etty Camisole free PDF sewing pattern from Tammy Handmade. It's available in sizes 6 to 24. There's a link below at the top of the description, so if you want to do this exercise yourself to get to learn how to use a PDF sewing pattern, go to the link, and then this is the page that will come up. And you go through the process. I've already done this. You add it to your basket and you go through a checkout process, but you don't pay for it. And then you have a checkout page here, and you can see here this highlighted text. This is where you download the files, and you double click on it, and essentially you then download it. So I've already done that, and you can see in my downloads I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 PDF files, and you don't need all of them. The first one is an instruction booklet. I'm going to show you all of this in a minute. The second one is sizes 6 to 16 in A0 format, which is if you're going to have the pattern printed full size at a copy shop, then size 6 to 16 in A4 or US letter format for home printers. And then you've got sizes 14 to 24, the bigger size set again in the A0 format, and the last one is in the larger size set for A4 and the US letter sizes. So you have 5 PDF files there, but as I said, you don't need all of them. Now, I'm not very technical, so I will be explaining this in fairly simple terms. You don't need to get overly complicated with it. I always download my PDFs into Adobe Acrobat. This is exactly what I've done here. I've downloaded all of them, although I don't need all of them. I've downloaded all of them just to show you. Okay, so you can see them just coming up on the screen here below when I go into my Acrobat icon at the bottom. So let's go into the first PDF file that you get, which is the instruction booklet, which is extremely useful. Again, the second one, like I said, sizes 6 to 16 A0 format, sizes 6 to 16 A4 or letter size format, the same in the size 14 to 24, size 14 to 24 again. So you've got 5 files there. So you will probably need your instruction booklet, which is this one, and one of these. Now, if you are going to have it printed at the copy shop even, I keep getting wrong, sorry, you will send this PDF file off to them, and they will print it remotely, and then they will send it back to you either folded or in a tube, and you've got your full-size pattern. Today, what I'm going to show you is how at home you would print off your pattern on, it'll be A4 or US letter size. For my purposes, I'm in the UK, so I'm using A4 paper. I'll be printing it off on A4 paper, and then eventually we will be piecing it all together. So before we get going, let's look at the instruction booklet here from Tammy Handmade. It's got lots of information in it, over 13 pages, that's really, really helpful. So you've got an image of the finished garment with a description, flat working drawings, so you can see it's got a face neckline and straps that are attached through the bagged out facing and a stitched hem. Now once you've got your pattern pieces printed out, which I'm going to show you how to do that after this, you'll need to refer to one of these charts, and it's got the 2 different size sets and it shows you how they go together. I mean, it really is quite simple. So for the first size set, 6 to 16, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 pages that all go together in a block with these 2 at the end here, and then slightly differently for the larger size set. And she includes recommendations for fabric shops, fabric tools, and her favourite sewing books, and then fabric and sizing. Okay, so she talks about the fabrics that it's suitable for: cotton, viscose, rayon, satin and crepe wovens, lightweight wovens essentially, and she says in the photograph she's used a viscose twill, which work perfectly for having a nice weight whilst maintaining a fluid drape. Okay, importantly, before you go ahead, it's probably a good idea to look at the size chart and the finished garment measurement. So the size chart, this refers to your actual body measurements. So for the purposes of this garment, it's really all about your bust and your waist measurement, because your hips are not going to come into it. All in inches, and then you've got the finished garment measurement. So let's just compare them. So the difference between your body measurements and the finished garment measurements is essentially the ease that you need in between your body size and the garment size, so you can actually move in it, and it also affects the appearance and the fit of the garment. So let's look at size 12. So size 12 has a 37 bust as a body measurement, but the garment measurement measures 38.5, so that's an 1.5 inches worth of ease. So you've got it's sort of a reasonably fitted bust line, but with an amount of ease, so it's not uncomfortable and it's not too tight. And interestingly, the waist, 30-inch body measurement and a 41-inch garment measurement, so there's a lot more ease around the waist, and it's probably it's a lot looser, so I imagine that's going to look fairly straight, so you've got enough volume to tuck into to tuck in, basically a bit like the picture that you can see. Okay, so continuing on, we've got a section on the pattern layout, and it talks about the width of the fabric you might use and how you would lay it out. So the first one, a 50-inch wide fabric, all sizes, you'd need 1.7 meters, and this is how you would lay it out with your fold on one side and the selvages together at the other. And then wide width fabric, sizes 6 to 18 only, you can use 1 meter. So depending on the size that you are making, you can use either, all sizes can use 50-inch wide fabric, but only the smaller size set can use wide width fabric, and it's all to do with being able to fit the pattern pieces on in the most economical way. Okay, so I'm not going to go into the actual making of the garment, because I'm really talking about the initial downloading and using, the nitty-gritty of using a PDF pattern. But she's got really good instructions here, great clear diagrams. So I think if for anybody who's maybe a novice or new to sewing, I think this would be quite a nice project to do, and it's a free pattern. So if you've got some fabric at home, you've got a sewing machine, and you can download this free pattern, you are off and you can start. So the instructions continue. That's the facing, backing out the facing, and finally hemming it. And then there's a link to her website and a gallery of other patterns that she does, and you've got a discount code as well, and she's inviting you to share your make on Instagram, I believe. So that's a great instruction booklet that goes along with the pattern. So I'm now at the point where I'm going to print this off. So it's really important that you print it on the correct settings, because you need to print the first page and check that this 3-inch square is a 3-inch square. So let's go into the print icon. I've got the correct printer, actual size, page setup, A4, okay, and that is correct. So I am going to print page 1 only. So pages, and oh, hang on, current, that's just page 1, right? Okay, let's print it, and we will see if that is right. Incidentally, I always set my printer to grayscale when I do this, because you use less ink. Okay, so I've just checked that, and it is 3 inches square. So I can now go on, let's just all pages, la la la, auto, 100%, let's check the page setup, yeah, okay, and I am going to print. So I'll print all of the pages, and then the next step is how we piece this together, and I'm going to show you exactly how I do it. Okay, so this is really very simple. This is the top row of 4 sheets, 1 to 4. I've cut away the right hand side and the very bottom along the dotted line, and then you literally overlap them over each other like this, matching up the lines very, very carefully, and you've got like a sort of a diamond shape in the middle of each join, and then I just put a little bit of sellotape in the middle and join them all up, and then when I can see that it's all straight, I'll put a larger strip of sellotape along the whole of the join, and then you do the same for each row, and then it's the same principle. You join the rows together until you've got the whole piece, and all your pattern pieces are then formed together. And then the next step after that obviously will be just cutting all the individual pieces out to your correct size, and you just go for the key with the dotted line to work out your size. So I'm just going to hold up the 14 sheets that I've taped together just to show you. I don't know whether you can see it all. There it is. So you've got a front and a back both on the fold. You've got a front facing and a back facing, and then you have got the strap as well. So my next step is to cut them all out in my size. I hope you found that useful and informative if you're not familiar with using PDF sewing patterns. So I've printed it out and I've cut it out. I've got all the pieces here. That's the back facing for the Cami, for instance. So I could stop here, but I just want to talk very briefly about what I would do from this point onwards when I'm using a PDF sewing pattern, because really it's only a starting point like any pattern. So at this stage I will always draft it onto spot and cross paper, which is a pattern cutting paper widely used in the fashion industry. It's lightweight and it's got this grid of spot and crosses on, which are 2 centimeters apart. So it's very, very useful when you're drafting and cutting patterns, and it's just the perfect weight as well, and it's slightly see-through. So I would draft all the pattern pieces onto spot and cross paper, and at the same time I would use it as an opportunity to make any pattern amendments. And pattern amendments could be a couple of things. You might want to change the styling slightly. I mean, this has got a scalloped neckline. If you wanted to adjust it to make it straight or slightly more exaggerated V, you could do that at this stage. The other thing you could do is you could make size amendments because quite often it might be a little bit too small on the bust, a little bit too small on the waist, or vice versa, or a mixture of both. I mean, personally, I've got a really wide waist, so quite often I would be, say, a size 10, but I have to expand the waist because I've just proportionately got a really big waist. Whatever pattern I get, that's always the case, unless it's very, very loose, of course. So yeah, so that's kind of how I would view PDF patterns. I mean, they're the same as the paper patterns you buy ready put together in envelopes, I suppose. It's always a starting point. And the other thing I would say about PDF patterns is that they all come differently depending on the designer and the producer of them. This Tammy Handmade one I think is brilliant, and it came with very, very clear instructions, and it was free as well. I think it's a great pattern, so a really, really good one to start sewing with if you want to sort of get the hang of using a PDF pattern. Also, some PDF patterns come in the format that you can put them into Adobe and you can remove some of the layers, i.e. you can remove all the other sizes, so you just print out your size, so you don't have the whole sort of issue of tracing the exact dotted line or dot dash line for your exact size when you're cutting out. I mean, it's not that much of a big deal, but you know, with technology they're getting cleverer and cleverer. So in addition to that, I've got a few vlogs that I've done previously, and they've got loads and loads of free patterns in them, and they're all PDFs. Most of them are PDFs, so I'm going to put a link in the description so you can have a look through there, and there may be some free PDF patterns that you might want to have a go with. If you've got some fabric at home, it's a free pattern, and it's just a really good way of practicing and getting the hang of sewing generally, I think. So yeah, as I say again, I hope you found that really useful. This is one of my new sort of midweek sort of information vlogs that I'm trying to do. I'll be back with something else next Wednesday, but before that I will see you on Sunday. And a really, really, really massive thank you to everybody who has subscribed to my channel over the recent sort of few months. It has grown and it's growing, and I really appreciate it, and it really sort of energizes me to sort of carry on and make more videos, and the comments are just brilliant. Thank you so much. Keep them coming, and I will see you on Sunday. Bye.